So we're going to have a brief discussion up here, then again, as I mentioned, open it up to Q&A. One of the first questions that I have for you, and Randall from Andy, you might be familiar with this statistic, that less than 16% of the fastest growing U.S. firms in the past 10 years receive VC money. You might know where I got that from. So that really makes us wonder when we're talking about this missing middle space, and there's so much talk about venture funds that are created. Do you go to venture funds to source your capital, or how do you find your capital? The foundation that's behind this research, Kauffman Foundation, talks a lot about bootstrapping, about credit cards, about bank loans that are common sources of financing for startups. So this is a question for any of you who want to answer. Anyone?
I really think that it really depends on the stage where you are. It's very difficult, especially for your first venture. I think I found it extremely difficult for the first venture to go to VCs. I'm not sure they really, you don't have any there's no background, there's no track record, there's nothing really they can point to really, make the point. They may see the business opportunity, but then they're taking a guess on you. For seed money, I've found the 3 F's to be very, very effective. And the 3 F's are friends, family, and fools. Oh, God, I love it. I found that to be very effective because that's really, that's a wide guess they're taking on you. It's really the riskiest money. But once you really get through, it's the highest return that you get.
Yeah. That study also mentions that most VCs invest in firms that are over 3 years old. Yeah. So that's another interesting thing to consider when we talk about financing sources for the missing middle.
The only caveat to that is once you have a track record, like you have your first company, you went through, you can point up to a success that you've been through, I think that becomes more responsive.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just wanted to comment on the little bit of experience that we've had with VCs, very, very little. Well, as I mentioned to you before, my husband and I decided to self-finance, which for us looked like the savings that he had from when he worked as an investment banker, that all went into the business. And then we started leveraging different credit cards that we had 0% APR, and we had probably about $400,000 worth of that. We did not use all of that. Let me just get that out there. But it was very helpful in terms of having a method of managing cash flow and working capital. But about 6 months ago, we were approached out of the blue by a Canadian-American venture capital firm. And I suspect, and one of the things that I'm proud of with our company in us bootstrapping is that by year 2, we have been profitable. Because when you're dealing with your own money, guess what? You make sure that you pay your bills and you don't spend more than you can afford. And knock on wood, it stays like that. But we were approached, and they wanted to infuse a total of about $5 million to help us get to the next level. And we've got, just had a nice conversation about where things would go. But as the discussions progressed, it gradually appeared that they weren't interested at all with what it was that we were trying to do and what it was that we wanted to see happen with our company. It's not about wine. We're not a wine business. We are really a company that aspires to be like a Tata Group or a P&G, which is, those are family-owned businesses, or an LVMH, which are family-owned businesses that are now publicly traded that operate in a variety of industries, but with a focus on changing people's perceptions of Africa and her diaspora. But what they wanted from us instead was, no, let's focus on just the wine, and not only just the wine, we want you to get rid of 3 of your 4 brands, and we want you to focus on this one because this one is the big ticket. And so we walked away. It hurt because when you're an entrepreneur and you are in need of cash, you want to figure out ways to make it work. But I think staying true to core values is most important.
Selena has inspired me to jump in. So as Valaya said, the 3 F's were definitely helpful for us. I'd say the third F of most of all, but Our only experience really was we had just launched, and we did get an offer of some capital from a VC firm, and pretty much the same experience. They wanted to take a greater control over our direction, and as I'd mentioned in personality, they wanted to actually rip out all the personality that we felt would actually be key to our success. So we also walked away, and where we did find investment was actually, instead of looking for monetary investment, we looked for people to invest their skills. So we went to an amazing development firm for the code language Ruby on Rails, and we got them to invest their coders in Mad Mimi rather than invest money. And that's how we got our initial framework and foundation of the program built. And then shortly after that, it just started rolling.
That's great.
And I really like everything I heard, because it is absolutely true. For everything I've done so far, we started out with going to friends and families, and yes. And the one thing I liked about what you were saying, is it Dean? Dean, yeah. For my second company, I did a mix of those two, meaning friends, families, and then for everything else that needed to be done, because we're building a really cool e-commerce web platform that has a lot of capacity to do the type of marketing that I'm going to try to do. And all the coding, all of that is being handled by people that will not take a dime from me right now. Everyone is looking at this for the upside. The CFO I mentioned is joining in, and I'm not paying him a dime either. My designers with whom I've developed, the brand and the branding and all of that, I haven't paid them anything either. And we're talking about top people here. So I think, if you're able to really try and look around you, your closest supporters, those are the ones who are looking way beyond, people who are just investing in you and the fact that they truly believe in you. I found that to be really, actually very nourishing as well. It has been very nourishing. This time around it's been really, really nice. So you get those people, and then you try and start and find other very well and aligned folks that have the talent and the skill sets that you need, and inspire them enough to join you and work on this venture for nothing for now, except that the belief that you can accomplish the dream. So anytime you can do those two, I think it's great, and we're seeing more and more people willing to do that. I think the economic downturn has pushed a lot of people into thinking in different ways to do things.